Hello students, in this video we will cover networking 1 that includes introduction to networking, evolution of networks, switching techniques which are used for data communication and transmission medias which are used for data communication. If we talk about the network definition, a computer network is a collection of interconnected computers and other devices to share data and other resources like hardware and software resources. As seen in this diagram, we have various components available. For example, switch, router, Wi-Fi router, and these smartphone, laptops, computers, PCs, desktops, these all are connected somehow to each and every one. So this is a perfect example of a network. If we talk about the benefits of a computer network, it will include resource sharing. Number 1 is hardware resources. Number 2 is software resources. Now, a network allows user to share many hardware devices such as printers, modems, fax machines, and CD-ROMs. If we talk about the software sharing software resources reduces the cost of software installation. We can install software on a single machine and it can be accessed by the multiple machines. We can save spaces on hard disk by saving data at a centralized location. Some more benefits of computer networks are increased speed, reduced cost, improved security, centralized software management, emails, and flexible access of data. If we talk about the evolution of a network, so we have to understand these three concepts: ARPANET, Internet, and interspace. Now, ARPANET, which was jointly designed and named by the Advanced Research Project Agency and US Department of Defense, was the first network that came into existence in 1969. As you can see in this timeline diagram, in 1969, that was the first evolution of any network. After that, in 1974, we have further developments in Internet. We have virtual communities in 1984. We have proposal for WWW in 1989. And further, these are the advancement in the field of network. Next topic is switching techniques. Now, switching techniques are used in 3 ways. First is circuit switching, second is message switching, and third is packet switching. If we talk about the switching, it is a process of moving data from one interface and delivering it through another interface. The main goal of networking is the reliable exchange of data or information, for which we have to use these switching techniques. Now, first one is circuit switching. Circuit switching provides end-to-end connection between two computers. For example, telephone network connection. If we talk about circuit switching, you can consider a simple example of landline phones. Now this is phone A and this is phone B. They are somehow connected through an established copper path which are used for transferring of data. So a telephone network is the best example of circuit switching. Next is packet switching. Now, packet switch describes a type of network in which relatively small units of data called packets are routed through a network based on the destination address contained with each packet. Now, in this you have to understand that whenever we transfer our data, that data is divided into multiple packets. You can see this packet format. Now, this is a simple packet format. Whenever a packet is being created, it contains this information: destination ID, source ID, message ID, packet ID, controls, and user data. In the second diagram, now this is a sender and this is a receiver, and we have a network available in this circled area. If we are transferring data from the sender, it will choose its path, which is known as virtual circuit path, through which we transfer our data. This is known as packet switching. In message switching, if a station wishes to send a message to another station, it first adds the destination address to the message. In message switching, It does not establish a dedicated path between the two communicating devices. There is no direct link between sender and receiver. This technique is also known as store and forward. For example, if you send an SMS, it goes to the message center number first of all. After that, message center number will distribute that message to the actual destination. In this diagram, we have M1 and M2. If we wish to send data from M1 to M2, we have to use this store and forward method. Now, this store and forward method is basically justified by the servers. These servers have capability of storing the message and sending it to the required destination. Now, the next topic is data communication terminologies. In this, we have to understand about bandwidth. Now, bandwidth is the capacity of a channel. You can see in this diagram, we have two different examples. We have two different wires. First wire is having a low bandwidth because the capacity is low, and in the second example we have high bandwidth. So it is very obvious that with low bandwidth we will get slow speed, and with high bandwidth we can get the highest speed. We have two small terms also. One is baud, it is how many times the signal changes per second, and bit rate, how many bits can be sent per time unit. Usually it is per second. Further, we have these data transfer rate units: BPS, KBPS, small MBPS, GBPS and TBPS. Wherever we have small b, it means bits, and wherever we have capital B, it means bytes. So obviously these bytes are much larger than these bits. Now the main topic is transmission media. You have to understand this because this topic will be asked for 1 or 2 marks by CBSE. So transmission media can be simply defined as the means through which we can send our data from one computer to another. Now we can send data using two ways: wired medium or wireless medium. Wired medium is also known as guided media, and wireless media is known as unguided media. In wired media, we have three types of physical cables: twisted pair cables, coaxial cables, optical fiber cables. In wireless, we have infrareds, radio links, microwave link and satellite link. Now, what is these cables, and after that wireless technologies. First one is twisted pair cable. A twisted pair cable consists of two conductors, basically copper based, with its own plastic insulation twisted together. As you can see in this diagram, this is Ethernet cable, which is generally used as data communication cable, and another one is shielded TPC. These are the examples of twisted pair cables. We have coaxial cables. So coaxial cable carries signals of higher frequency ranges than twisted pair cables. They contains a solid wire in the inner conductor. Outer conductor serves as a shield against noise and a second conductor. So these are those cables which are used for communicating data more than TPC. Next we have optical fiber cable. A fiber optic cable is made of glass or plastic and transmits signals in the form of light. Core is of glass or plastic surrounded by the cladding. As you can see in the diagram, we have cladding and buffer coating at the outer part of the wire. Inner part of the wire contains a core which is of glass or plastic. Cladding is a less dense glass or plastic. An optical fiber cable has a cylindrical shape, as we can see in this diagram, and another diagram that contains core in the center. So we have sender and receiver available, and it uses light signals for transmitting of data. That uses total internal reflection concept. Now this is a very interesting topic. In deep sea also we have cabling. So you can see these pictures that shows how these cables are laid out. So these are simple optical fiber cables which are undersea installed. I want to show one more diagram is a map. These red lines are undersea cabling. These undersea cablings is connecting whole world. In unguided media, first of all, we have to understand about the infrared. Infrared is used to send data. It transmits data through air and spread throughout a room. It cannot pass through solid objects. At a time, only two devices can communicate. Its frequencies is between 300 gigahertz to 400 terahertz. It is used for short range communication. As you can see that remote controls, night vision cameras, file sharing between two phones, and communication between a PC and a peripheral device are the main examples of infrared rays. Next we have radio link or radio waves. These are omnidirectional antenna. The frequency is between 3 kHz and 1 GHz. It is used for multicast, multiple way communication such as radio and televisions. Radio waves can penetrate buildings easily, so that widely used for indoors and outdoor communication as seen in this diagram. So these senders and receivers all are connected to this radio tower and they can send data through this radio towers. Next we have microwave link. So microwaves are ideal when large areas need to be covered and there are no obstacles in the path. You can see in this diagram we have microwave relay stations. We have main microwave and microwave relay stations which are acting as a sender and receiver. Microwaves, electromagnetic waves, have frequency between 1 GHz and 300 GHz. There are two types of microwave data communication system, terrestrial and satellite. Microwaves are widely used for one-to-one communication between sender and receiver. For example, cellular phones, satellite networks, and in wireless LANs, Wi-Fi's, WiMAX, we have microwave links. Next we have satellite link. Satellite communication is a special case of microwave relay system. Satellite communication uses the synchronous satellites to relay the radio signal transmitted from ground station. It is used for very long distance wireless communication. It uses microwave frequency bands and frequency of uplink varies from 1.6 GHz to 30.0 GHz. That's all in this video. Thank you.